All right, so moving on to the first actual business model that we'll cover here, and that is retail arbitrage. Now, this is a great way for beginners to make some side money. I don't necessarily, and we'll talk about that here in a second. You can, I know people that do. I don't necessarily recommend that you kind of scale this up to a full-time business, but you can. It's really just, in my opinion, a great way to make some side money, to invest into a more scalable business going forward. But hey, if you like it, scale it up, because I always recommend to beginners, and that's why this course is so valuable. What you want to do is you want to try a bunch of different things if you're a beginner, right? If you're a beginner, there's usually like a T shape, right? So if you look at the mouse, like if you draw a T, right? So that's the top of the T, that's the middle, right? You want to know a little bit about a bunch of different things, hence the top of the T, right? Go very broad. But then once you find that one, you want to go very, very specific and become one of the best in the world at it. So what I always recommend is try a bunch of different things initially to find out what you like and you're good at, because if, for example, you're good at retail arbitrage, well, that'll come a lot easier to you. You'll be willing to work a lot harder at it, and that's why I would recommend in that case that you scale it up, right? But for most people, it's just a means to an end. It's a way to get some extra side money to throw into a legitimate business model that you can scale. So you can go to flea markets to do retail arbitrage. You can go to dollar stores. You can go to Goodwill stores. You can go to thrift stores, or practically any retail store, right? All it basically is if you're unfamiliar with what arbitrage is, it's the buying of and selling of the difference in a product's price, right? So for example, you go to Walmart, right? You see something that sells at Walmart for $3. You find out through retail arbitrage that it sells on Amazon for $20. You buy it from Walmart for $3, and then you're in the whole $3. Then obviously you would sell it on Amazon, and then you'd make the markup from $20 or from $3 to $20, right? Minus the fees. So that's how you profit from retail arbitrage, okay? So you'd go to retail stores like flea markets, dollar stores, or any retail store, Walmart, Target, etc., etc. And then from there right then, you obviously would look for, scan it with scanning apps. So I'm going to talk about them here in a second. Discrepancies in prices from things that you can buy in that retail store, which you can sell on Amazon or eBay sometimes. Usually it's Amazon, for a profit, okay? Now there's many apps that actually do this, and one of the apps, one of the websites that I'd recommend is check out BrickSeek. So brickseek.com. It's a great website. It's mainly for Walmarts. It'll tell you, discrepancies in prices on Walmarts, but it is also things like Target, I think. There's other ones like Best Buy and so on and so forth. So check out BrickSeek. I didn't actually put that on here, but it just popped into my mind. So I'd recommend that you download the Amazon and the eBay app and you start scanning, right? That's an easy, free way to get started. But there's also, paid apps. Obviously, the Amazon and eBay app are free. So you walk into somewhere, you scan a barcode, and you see what that product is selling for on Amazon, right? Or on eBay. So on Amazon, obviously, there's going to be a specific product listing that you can see the competition on, how many other sellers are on there, what the price is. For eBay specifically, it's a little bit different because there's going to be a bunch of different listings, so you have to gauge competition a little bit differently. If you have any questions on how to gauge competition on eBay, reach out. I'd love to answer them for you. It's actually relatively easy, but just understand that there's two different ones. So you can download the Amazon app, you can download the eBay app 100% free, and just start scanning things to see if there's a discrepancy in price from what you can buy it for, and if it's selling on Amazon or eBay for more, okay? Or you can download paid apps like Scoutify, Profit Bandit, and Scout IQ, okay? All of those are paid apps that are basically going to give you an all-in-one app, okay? So you scan a barcode, it'll run the numbers for you and tell you whether that sells on Amazon or on eBay, obviously. Those are specifically for Amazon, but there are other eBay apps out there. I just don't really, I've never used them, right? Usually I just kind of do product research on eBay myself. So it's going to tell you, whether you can sell it. It's going to run all the numbers for you. It's going to tell you whether it's profitable or not, and whether or not you're allowed to sell it with your specific seller account, right? So that's going to save you a lot of time, because if you're going into a store and you're scanning, 20 to 30 items or 100 items or a couple hundred items a day, right? Imagine saving 2 to 3 minutes every single item. It adds up fast, right? Because it's going to literally, you scan it and it's going to boom, tell you, okay, it's profitable or not, right? Okay, you can sell it, okay, it's profitable or not. Or okay, it's not profitable, move on to the next item, right? You don't have to scan it and then look through the numbers yourself and spend like a minute or two on the listing. So highly recommend that you look into retail arbitrage. And if you're serious about it, download one of those apps. They all work very, very well, okay? So how I got into retail arbitrage, I actually do online arbitrage, which is a little bit different, but I have done retail arbitrage in the past. It was one of the first business models that I started to build up initial cash flow to invest into my private label products. Now, I don't private private label anymore, something we'll talk about in the private label lecture, but it is a great way to get started, so that's how I got into it. My experience with retail arbitrage is, while I love the arbitrage business model overall, I prefer to do online arbitrage, which we'll talk about next. So I don't personally love retail arbitrage, but I know a lot of people that do retail arbitrage love it and make a lot of money doing it. So no, I still don't do it. And do I recommend it? Yes, I recommend it for beginners, but I don't recommend it for people that are more like seasoned, or people that are planning on scaling up a business currently, because it's going to take a lot of your time, and you actually have to physically go out to locations and start scanning products and doing it that way. So I would recommend that you go in a different route, maybe online arbitrage if you like the online or you like the arbitrage business model. But that said, it is a great opportunity for beginners, anybody. I don't care if you're 12, if you're 18, if you're 40, right? Anybody to make money, flipping products. It's a great business model to do it. And there's pretty much no other, that's not true. There's pretty much not many other, I should say, business models that are like surefire. You can make money today if you're willing to go out and put the work in. So that's my take on retail arbitrage. Let's move on to the next lecture.